We continue now at the top of Daf Dalet Amud Aleph and Meseches Megillah. This is Megillah Daf 4a. The Gemara here continues a statement of Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi. He says, Lod v'ono v'geh hacharashim. Rashi says, Lod v'ono v'geh hacharashim. Me'ore Binyamin hayu. These were cities in the territory of Binyamin. K'dichsiv, like the pasuk says, Uvnei al palo ovar umisham v'shemer hubona es Lod v'esono v'gomer. These were built again by these individuals. V'sefer divrei hayamim miyachso al shevet Binyamin. And in Sefer Divrei Hayamim, they say again that these cities are in the territory of Shevet Binyamin. Ugemara Gomir lo Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi Rabbi. Now Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi had a tradition from his Rebbe to Mukafas Choma Mimos Yoshua ben Nun. As we're about to say, these cities were surrounded by walls from the time of Yoshua ben Nun. Of Masnisen de Erchen Tanan Tarti Minayu de Kamani Lud Vaono Etzel Are Choma She'ina No Hagos Elamimos Yoshua ben Nun. It says in Meseches Erchen in the Mishnah they mention two of these cities in the same fashion. Well, Afisha Chamosein Niros Chadoshos Kedamrin Lekaman. Now, since the walls appear to be new, as we're going to say later, Shenaflu Vechzikon, because they really fell down, they were strengthened. Huzkuk Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi Lahoid. That's why Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi is coming along and testifying over here. Shebechlal Mukafas Chomahin, that they're included among those that are surrounded by walls, Likros Megillah B'Tezvav, that they read the Megillah on the 15th of Adar. So that's what Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi says. Mukafas Choma Miyamos Yoshua ben Nun Have. These cities, Lod, Ono, Ge'acharashim, are considered to be surrounded by a wall from the days of Yoshua ben Nun. So the Gemara asks, V'hani Yoshua ben Nuni, is it really true that Yoshua built these cities? V'ha El Pal ben Nuni, like Rashi just said, it was built by El Pal. Dechsiv, like the pasuk says, Uvnei El Pal Ever Umisham V'Shemer Hubones Ono V'es Lod Uvnoseh. It says again, the children of El Pal, they built these. They were the following individuals, and he built those cities. So you see, it wasn't built by Yoshua ben Nun. So the Gemara says, but according to that logic, Asa ben Nuni, really it was Asa who actually built these cities. Dichsiv, because the pasuk says, Vayiven Asas Are Habitsuros Asher Yehuda. It says Asa built the fortified cities in the territory of Yehuda. So therefore you see anyway that they were built multiple times. And so the Gemara explains, like Rashi said, Amar Rav Elazar says, Hani Mukafos Choma Miyamos Yoshua ben Nun Have. These cities were surrounded by walls from the days of Yoshua ben Nun. Charuv Bimei Pilegesh Begiva, by the episode of the Pilegesh Begiva, they were destroyed. Va'asa El Pal ben Nunhi, then came along El Pal, he rebuilt it. Hadar Infal, then it fell again. And so Asa, and so then Asa came along, Shavsinu, and he restored it. Rashi over here says, Vayechazak Asa, Eino b'chol mikra. This pasuk is not in any of the psukim. Avol mikra acher ksiv vayiven arim b'Yehuda. There's another pasuk that says he built cities in Yehuda. Now the problem is we're talking about the territory of Binyamin, and now we're bringing a pasuk about Yehuda. V'yafagav dehani lav miYehuda ninu umi Binyamin hayu. Now even though these are not part of the territory of Yehuda, why are we bringing this issue at all? So hayu malcha Yehuda moshlim al Binyamin. The kings of Yehuda, they ruled over the territory of Binyamin. Umatzino ba'asa shaf ari Binyamin chizek. We do find that Asa strengthened the cities in the territory of Binyamin. Tichsiv, like the pasuk says, Vayusos avnei harama v'seitzeh asher bona ba'asha vayiven b'mesgeva v'yasa mitzvah v'hein ari Binyamin k'tichsiv b'sefer Yoshua. They list these places that he built, again in the cities of Binyamin, as it's written in Sefer Yoshua. B'mei Pilegesh Begiva she'achrivu Yisrael es Binyamin. In the days of the episode of the Pilegesh Begiva, so Klal Yisrael destroyed the territory of Binyamin v'asarav and its cities. K'tichsiv gam kol ha'orim hanimsos shalchu b'eish. It says they burned the cities in fire at that particular point in time. And so then again, finally, the Gemara says, Asa came Shavtzinu, he restored it. Hachaziku es bidkei, and again, he restored these cities, and that's why we're saying it was built, it was destroyed, rebuilt, again rebuilt, and still it's considered to be a city that's surrounded by walls from the days of Yoshua ben Nun. And the Gemara continues and says, Dekanami, we can even prove this to you, because the pasuk says, Vayomer Yehuda nivne es ha'arim ha'eli, said to Yehuda, let's build up these cities. Mechlal da'arim hava meikara. Even from the phrasing, it sounds like the cities were already there, and he's just restoring the cities. Shema Mina, you see from this that this is indeed the case. And the Gemara continues, V'yomer Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, and Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi says, Noshim chayavos b'mikra Megillah. Women are chayiv in reading the Megillah, in that mitzvah, sha'af hein hayu ba'oso hanes, because they also were part of the miracle. When it came to the miracle that's in the Megillah, they were part of that miracle as well. Rashi over here says, sha'af hein hayu ba'oso hanes, they were part of the miracle. Sha'af al hanoshim gozar haman lahashmid laharog ule'abed minar v'adzakin taf v'noshim, because the decree against the Jews included everybody, included women as well. They're part of the miracle, therefore they're chayavos in Mikra Megillah. And the Gemara continues, V'yamar Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, and Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi says, Purim shechol lios b'Shabbos. Let's say you have a situation where Purim falls out on Shabbos. So shoal in v'darshin b'inyano shel yom. So on that day, you should ask and you should darshan things having to do with Purim. Rashi over here says, shoal in v'darshin ma'amidin turgamon lefnei hachacham lidro shigeres Purim b'rabim. You should darshan the letter of Purim to the public. You should darshan about Purim to the public if Purim falls out on Shabbos. So the Gemara says, 1 second. Ma'ir ya Purim. What are you saying this as if it's a special chiddush by Purim? Afilu yantiv nami. This is true by any yantiv. The Tanya we learned in a brayso, Moshe tikein lohem li Yisrael, that Moshe instituted for Klal Yisrael, shiu shoel in v'darshin bin yano shel yom, that a person should ask and darshan within the topic of whatever the day it is, whatever yantiv it is. Hilchas Pesach bePesach, you should learn the halachas of Pesach on Pesach. Hilchas Atzeres ba'Atzeres, you should learn the halachas of Shavuos on Shavuos. Hilchas Chag b'Chag, and you should learn the halachas of Sukkos on Sukkos. And so the Gemara says, no, Purim it's trichale. Purim is a chiddush. We needed to teach you this specifically by Purim, because mahu detema, because what might you have thought? Nigzor mishum de Rabba, that we should make a gezerah, the same gezerah that Rabba makes. Kamash malan, so that's what it's coming to teach us here. We don't make that gezerah. And Rashi over here explains mishum de Rabba de gazer lekamon bekriyas Megillah, because we're going to see later on that Rabba makes this gezerah later on. When it comes to reading Megillah, you're not supposed to do that on Shabbos. Shema ya'avirena arba amos b'rishus harabim, because we're afraid you're going to end up carrying the Megillah 4 amos in the public domain in the Rishus Harabim. Afkan gazru de Rasha atu kriya. So you might think over here also that they make a decree. You shouldn't be darshaning about it because you might end up reading from the Megillah. So it's teaching us we don't make such a gezerah. And the Gemara continues, V'yamar Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, and Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi says, Chayev adam likros as ha-Megillah b'layla v'lishnosa b'yom. A person needs to read the Megillah at night and then read it again during the day. Shenemar, like the pasuk says, Elokai ekra yomam v'losane v'layla v'lo, talking about calling out to Hashem during the day and the night. Yomam v'layla. So the Gemara says, Savar mina lemikriya belayla. So when the Talmidim heard this, they thought it meant you're supposed to read it at night. Ulemisna masnisin dida biyamama. They heard the word vilishanosa. They thought it was like the word mishnayis. You have to learn the mishnayis about Megillah during the day. So Amar Lu Rabbi Yirmiyah, so Rabbi Yirmiyah said to them, L'didi mifar shali minei Rabbi Chia bar Abba. It was explained to me in the name of Rabbi Chia bar Abba, kegon da amri inchi, that when we're using the word vilishnosa, it's like the expression that people say, Evor Parshas Adam, I'm going to go over this Parsha, the Esnaya, then I'm going to repeat it. So it doesn't mean to say you learn the Mishnayos, it means to say you're going to repeat it, you're going to read it again during the day. Rashi over here explains, Ekra, it says, Elokai Ekra Yomam, I call out during the day and you don't answer. So why does this have to do with Megillah? Rashi says, B'mizmor lam natseach al ayelas hashachar. This is in the part of Tehillim that's al ayelas hashachar, shenemar al Esther. It's actually talking about Esther. Kedaminu b'Meseches Yuma, like we say in Meseches Yuma, Lama nimshala Esther ka'ayelas v'chulu. It's mentioned over there in Meseches Yuma that Esther is compared ka'ayelas. So therefore that whole perek is talking about Esther, talking about Megillah. So we learn out that you have to read Megillah night and day from that pasuk. Savar mina b'nei hayeshiva sheshamu shmozu b'lashon hakodesh v'lishnosa b'yom hayu svurin d'hai v'lishnosa lashon shonim mishnu. Like we said, they thought that the word v'lishnosa means you have to learn the Mishnayos, and we said no, that's not what it means. What it really means to say is you read it during the night and then you read it again during the day. And the Gemara continues, Itmar Nami was taught as well. Amar Rabbi Chelbo, Amar Ula Bira. Rabbi Chelbo said in the name of Ula Bira, Chayiv Adam Likros as Megillah B'layla. A person needs to read the Megillah at night. V'lishnosa b'yom. And a person needs to again repeat it during the day. Shenemar, like the pasuk says, Lemani Zamercha Chavod V'lo Yidom. Going to sing to you and not going to be silent. It's like a double language. Hashem Elokai Li'olam Odeka. So therefore, again, you learn from that pasuk that we do it during the night and during the day. Again, Rashi over here says, Yizamercha Chavod B'yom V'lo Yidom B'layla. The Yizamercha Chavod refers to the day, and V'lo Yidom refers to the nighttime. V'haikra b'mizmor aromimcha Hashem kidi lisani. It's in the parak in Tehillim, aromimcha Hashem darshinan b'psikta b'Mordechai v'Esther v'Haman v'Achashverosh. So in the psikta they darshan also, that one's talking about Mordechai, Esther, Haman, and Achashverosh. Ukriyas Megillah shevachu. Reading the Megillah is a praise. Shemefars min hasanes. What we're doing is publicizing the miracle. V'akol mekalsin la'Kadosh Baruch Hu, and everybody's praising HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that's why again this mizmor, which which talks about praise, is also referring to the Megillah. And the Gemara continues at the two dots, quoting the Mishnah, Ella shahakfarim makdimin liyom hakanisa, in the villages, like we said, they read a little bit early, they read on the Monday or Thursday before the 14th of Adar. The Gemara says, Amar Rabbi Chanina says, Chachamim hekilu al akfarim. The Chachamim were lenient when it came to the villages, lios makdim liyom hakanisa, that they can read, again, on the Monday or Thursday, the gathering day before the 14th, kidei sheyispeku mayim umozon lachem shebekrachin. That way they'd be available to provide water and food to their brothers in the cities. And we'll continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Dalid Amud Beis.